All right, let's talk some facts you didn't know about JuJu Smith-Schuster, a bombshell of an article that The Atlantic put out about former Jaguars coach Urban Meyer, a huge Matt Ryan trade, and much more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole. I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL overall, so make sure to sub if you're new around here and check the description for all the timestamps and articles if you want to skip around to a particular story. Let's get into it. First off, last night on Twitter, the Chiefs dropped a cool little 1-minute video featuring our new safety, Justin Reid, and some behind the scenes of him landing in KC, meeting with Brett Veach, signing his contract, among other things.
That's a good feeling right there. Let's go. It's a good looking jersey, man. It already looks like it's going to fit just right. I am so excited to be here in Kansas City.
Make sure you hit that like button if you are enjoying the vibe so far from Justin Reid, and make sure to check out the full video on the Chiefs Twitter page. I linked it in the description of this video. I really like what I am seeing from Justin Reid so far off the field. Cannot wait to see this man on the field. And then Doug Kyed reports that Chiefs cornerback Mike Hughes is getting signed by the Lions for a 1-year, $3.5 million contract. Some of that has to be incentive-based, but I could be wrong. Anyway, Mike Hughes was a 2018 first-round pick, had his best NFL season last year with the Chiefs, and just turned 25 years old. After seeing this, I actually looked into this a bit more because I thought, no way last year was his best year in the NFL, because I felt like he just played okay. Had some good flashes, but then did things like fall over in the divisional playoff game against the Bills, getting completely scorched. But upon looking back, yeah, he has battled more injuries than I remember in his NFL career so far. So yeah, he is gone to the Lions, which leaves another hole in the cornerback position for us to fill, especially with the absence of Charvarius Ward. So time will tell what we do about the cornerback position. Maybe we will snag someone in free agency. I'm just not sure who all is really left there off the top of my head. We will for sure address it in the draft because Veach is not known for spending much on cornerbacks. And then, in a fun post on Instagram, the Chiefs posted about some of the best dressed players throughout the season, and Humphrey responded saying, "I can't believe I was left off this list." Well, the Chiefs responded in their own fun way and gave Humphrey a post of his own showing off some of his own outfits throughout last season. Humphrey commented on this post as well, saying, "That is one good-looking cat right there." This is just a fun little post that I found worth sharing with you guys. I love Creed, and ironically, I'm wearing his shirt this morning for this video, not knowing I was going to be doing a story about him, but he is the man, the core of our O-line, the center of our future. Love Creed. And then a couple more articles have surfaced recently about JuJu Smith-Schuster and some things you should know about him. So here are a few things I found worth sharing that you may not know. Smith-Schuster was drafted by the Steelers in 2017 and has played there for all 5 years of his career. So you may know that much, but this is the first new chapter in the NFL, which probably, to me at least, explains why he seemed so nervous during his press conference with the media the other day. Another thing, JuJu is not afraid to get physical. He's known for his blocking abilities, and it was talked about recently during his intro presser here with the Kansas City media. He said, "As you already know, as far as me physical blocking, it's self-explanatory. I'm a physical guy. I'm coming in here to showcase those talents. That's what I bring with myself in the package." And then in 2019, JuJu became the youngest player in NFL history at 22 years old and 297 days to reach 2,500 receiving yards. It's one of the few youngest in NFL history records that Smith-Schuster holds, namely because he was just 20 years old when he was drafted by the Steelers back in 2017. Also, since 2017, only 27 players in the NFL have recorded 800 plus receiving yards in at least 3 separate seasons. Well, the Chiefs now have 3 of those 27 players: Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and yep, you guessed it, JuJu Smith-Schuster. That's pretty wild if you think about it. We are about to be dominant as ever, at least in the receiving side of things, as we pretty much already have been. Something else you may not know, JuJu Smith-Schuster started an esports organization called Team Diverge. The initials of the organization are TD, touchdown as a nod to the football side of life. The reason I added this bit is because I personally am a gamer, love gaming, so I had to tip my hat to that. Lastly, and this was the most wild to me, his first name is actually John, middle name Sherman. John Sherman Smith-Schuster. John Smith-Schuster, Johnny Smith-Schuster, John Sherman Smith-Schuster. Those just don't roll off the tongue as well as JuJu, in my opinion. But here's a little bit of background on the name. In 2011, he was listed on the roster as plain old John Smith, as anonymous a listing as any future superstar could have. He switched his program listing from John to his lifelong nickname JuJu the next year. At USC, he legally added Schuster, a tribute to his stepfather, Lawrence. So yeah, that is very interesting to me. John Smith was his name. That is about as plain as you can get, but now it's JuJu Smith-Schuster, a name everybody pretty much knows in the NFL. And then Bleacher Report dropped an article yesterday grading the Chiefs' impactful offseason decisions so far. And tell me if you agree with these. They grade Orlando Brown Jr.'s franchise tag as a B, saying that a long-term signing will anchor the Chiefs' O-line for years to come. And yeah, a long-term deal is definitely coming, and I do like Orlando. He is going to fit us well, hopefully so, over the next few years, however long they sign him to this contract. Then they grade the signing of Justin Reid as a B-, basically saying it's a good signing, but time will tell if he will be able to fill the shoes of Tyrann Mathieu, who has been such a pivotal part of the leadership on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that's why the Chiefs signed him personally. They see his potential and believe he's yet to hit his prime and is the next man up. He's only 25, so in theory, the best is yet to come from Justin Reid, and I'm here for all of it. Lastly, they grade the signing of JuJu John Sherman Smith-Schuster as an A, saying he has something to prove on his one-year deal and he should be motivated to put his best foot forward to prove he can play at an all-time high level again, which will in turn set him up for a longer-term, bigger contract next offseason. So, do you guys agree with these grades? A B for Orlando Brown Jr., a B- for Justin Reid, and an A for JuJu Smith-Schuster. Okay, in other NFL news, Jason Jinks and Mike Sando from The Athletic dropped a wild article yesterday detailing the toxic environment that Urban Meyer created in his disastrous year with the Jaguars. The article goes right into it without hesitation, starting out like this. Urban Meyer burst into a room full of players at the Jaguars facility. He was furious. One of the players had missed an assignment during a preseason game, leading to a busted play. Meyer was enraged when it happened. A day later, he was still fuming. If the mistake ever happened again, Meyer warned, he would cut every single one of them. Quote, "And do you know what would happen if I cut you guys?" Meyer said, according to 4 people in the room. "You couldn't get a job paying more than $15 an hour." What? The implication that his players were capable of little more than playing football left some angry, others offended. "I lost all respect for him after that," a veteran player in the room said. First off, wow, is this guy serious? The leader of the team that's supposed to help lift them to the next level, to take them higher in their journey in the NFL, is throwing insults around like that, basically saying they couldn't even get a simple job outside of the NFL. He's basically calling them all idiots. The article keeps going, guys. It labels Meyer as a control freak, perfectionist, someone whose reputation is known for his obsession for victory at all costs. He's described by players on the team as mentally exhausting, toxic, threatening, among many other things. One veteran member of the football operations staff said, "It's the most toxic environment I've ever been a part of, by far, not even close." And then according to wide receiver DJ Chark, Meyer routinely threatened to fire coaches and cut players, thinking that would help motivate players to play better. Chark says, "I know he would come up to us and tell us if the receivers weren't doing good. He wasn't going to fire us. He was going to fire our coach. And he would usually say that when the coach was around." Things in this article get even more interesting when they say Meyer didn't even know A-level players on opposing teams such as 49ers receiver Deebo Samuel, Seahawks safety Jamal Adams, and Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald. He's literally quoted as saying this about Aaron Donald in this article. "Who's this 99 guy on the Rams?" Meyer asked one staffer during the season, according to a source. "I'm hearing he might be a problem for us." Apparently, also, Meyer forbade players from speaking with opponents on the field before games, berated a player so harshly that said player cried. And according to this article, he actually slammed the door on his way out and left other players and coaches around to console the player who was actually crying. And he repeatedly belittled his staff to their faces. He told his assistants he was a winner and they were losers, and demanded that they defend their resumes. And the article details how Meyer lied to his team about the incident with that lady in the Ohio steakhouse. You probably remember it. Photos surfaced of him dancing with this lady and all this stuff. The article literally says this: multiple sources said Meyer went from position group to position group, telling players that the woman in the video tried to lure him onto the dance floor despite Meyer's refusal. But according to two sources, soon after he left one position group, a second, more provocative video became public, throwing everything Meyer said in doubt. Anyway, the article keeps going, guys, detailing more wild events and stories like this. The reason he was eventually fired, most people know. He actually kicked his kicker and called him multiple expletives, telling him to make his blanking kicks. Lambo, their kicker, told him never to touch him again, and Meyer responded saying, "I'm the head coach. I'll kick whoever the blank I want." And I will say this, he did admit to making contact with his kicker, gets fired. It's pretty wild. That's a whole nother story for another time. But the article ends saying this: the day that Urban Meyer was fired, instead of disappointment or concern in the locker room, the players sensed something else: relief. Wow, guys, what are your thoughts on all of this? Let me know in the comments down below, because this article is crazy. And you would think after all this stuff that was mentioned, all this stuff that was listed, how big of a D-bag Urban Meyer is, that he would basically never get a job again, at least not one around football or anything to do with football. But just a few days ago, he was hired by a company called The Foundation. And apparently The Foundation is an organization that Cardale Jones made news with and co-founded with Brian Schottenstein to pay basketball and football players to work with charities. So again, he is still involved in the football system somewhat. This is crazy, but hopefully after this article drops, they are going to let this guy go. Time will tell there. So yeah, that was the big bombshell yesterday, but there are a lot of other things to talk about. So here's a few other things that happened yesterday. Outside linebacker Za'Darius Smith visited with the Vikings. Defensive lineman Arden visited with the Lions yesterday. Linebacker Micah Kiser visited the Raiders. The Patriots hosted veteran free agents Leonard Fournette and Malcolm Butler. The Bills signed QB Matt Barkley to a one-year deal. And then apparently Baker Mayfield's camp has had preliminary discussions with the Seahawks and Panthers, according to a source. Nothing appears imminent at this point, though. It's unclear if a deal could take place as early as this week or sometime later in the offseason, but a move is anticipated at some point. Mayfield turns 27 next month and is in the final year of his contract, where he will earn a fully guaranteed $18.858 million in 2022. So let's see where he lands. It certainly would be a bit wild if he did not even start next season and was a backup. Not gonna lie, that I know the shoulder surgery is playing a little bit of a role in that. And then the Saints are re-signing QB Jameis Winston to a 2-year deal with a base value of $28 million, $21 guaranteed. And the Falcons are signing Raiders backup QB Marcus Mariota to a 2-year deal. And you may be wondering, why would they need to do that? They have Matt Ryan. Well, most of you probably know this, but that's because Matt Ryan has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for a 3rd-round pick. And no, I'm not joking. Another QB moves to another AFC team, and more specifically, another QB moves to the Indianapolis Colts. Here is an insane stat for you all. The Colts have had a different starter every year since 2016. The order goes like this: Andrew Luck, Scott Tolzien, Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and now Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is owed a total of $23.75 million in cash next season, and the Falcons will be forced to eat an NFL record $40.5 million in dead money. Ouch, bro. Anyway, the Colts on the other hand, have plenty of cap space to work with to acquire Matt Ryan, and they still landed Ryan for about half the cost of Carson Wentz, which is crazy to me. Matt Ryan, who's 37, has spent the last 14 seasons with the Falcons, and he should offer the Colts more production, if not at least the same level of production as Carson, but is historically a more reliable game manager than Wentz. Just don't look back to the Falcons' 28-3 Super Bowl collapse against the Patriots, and everything will be just fine, okay? Don't you worry. In all seriousness, Ryan is a steady leader with an excellent football IQ and a strong arm. He's a certified veteran, a true leader in the locker room, and his presence on the Colts should help draw even more free agents to the team, because free agents prior to the Matt Ryan trade were hesitant to join a team before knowing who was going to lead said team first. So that should definitely help bring some more people over to the Colts. And Odell Beckham Jr. had thoughts of his own on the Matt Ryan trade to Indy. Random thought. Bro, I really think Matt Ryan to the Colts was actually fire. I think he will elevate and do something special over there. What do you guys think about all of this? Do you agree with OBJ? Do you guys like this trade for the Colts? How do you think Mariota will do on the Falcons? Where is Mayfield going to be traded to now, if any team at all? Let me know in the comments down below. It's a crazy time in the NFL. There's so much going on. I like this trade for the Colts. I know the Falcons are in a bit more of a rebuild. The Colts, on the other hand, are in a place to make a playoff run and probably should have made the playoffs last year if it wasn't for Carson Wentz. So yeah, lots going on. Don't you worry though, I'll keep you up to date every step of the way. Make sure to sub for more daily news like this and check out the video here from the previous day's news in case you missed it. So until next time, let's go. How about those